Hello, it's Jane here. I'm back in the kitchen because today I just want to do a really quick video on, on how I save my tomato seed, because it's that time of year where, you know, we want to be saving seed of our favourite plants for the following season. So I actually started about a week ago choosing which tomatoes I wanted to save the seed from and grow again. And I put a picture of the method that I was using in the Facebook group, and quite a few people got in touch and said, how are you doing that? What is it? How can we do it? And I just thought the quickest way to show you would be to do a small video. So the method that I use currently is called the fermentation process. And all that means is your seeds are scooped out, put in some water, the gloopy stuff off the seeds rises to the top, any non-viable seeds rise to the top, you strain it off, and the seeds that are left at the, can you see that fly? That's going to bug me the whole time. Okay, got to be quick. The seeds that remain at the bottom can then be strained off, dried and saved for the following year. The reason it's called a fermentation process is because all the gloop that rises to the top then starts to ferment, looks pretty nasty, and really it's something you don't want anywhere near your seeds for next year, especially because you're going to be storing them for at least, let's say even if you start February, we're in September now, 5 months. So you want to make sure they're really clean, really nice, so you've got the best seed possible for the following year. What you want to consider is the sort of tomato that you're going to use. It is no good saving seed from an F1 variety. And this, thank you so much to Joanne for reminding me of this, because I was saving some seed from my Sun Gold. Completely forgot that Sun Gold was an F1. You will get tomatoes the following year, but they won't come true to type. So you won't get your true Sun Gold tomato. With an F1, you've got a cross between one species variety of tomato and another to produce that very unique fruit. So think, for example, a Labradoodle, a Cockapoo, the same as that, but with tomatoes. So choose something that isn't an F1, go through the tomatoes, choose the varieties you want to have again. So for example, this is a pink heart tomato. It's one of our absolute favourites. It's brilliant for cooking, it's brilliant for just eating as is, and it's one of those lovely heart-shaped tomato. It is slightly pink if you put it next to a more traditional red tomato, but that's going off subject. So as I mentioned in our tomato tasting video, it's one of our favourites, and the seeds for this were sent to us several years ago by Mandy Baldwin, and Mandy, they are still going strong because we save the seeds every year and have had great success. So I'm choosing this again just to show you what I do. The other thing you want to make sure before you save your seeds is make sure that your tomato is as ripe as you want it to be, really ripe, and you can tell just by giving it a squeeze on the skin. The melons, they'd be a good one. Sorry, I'm going off. You can give them a good squeeze and there's some give there. That shows it's really nice and ripe, and you don't want a tomato that's diseased at all. So this is a perfect example of a tomato that I'm going to save seeds from to grow on next year using the fermentation process. And the best thing I can do is bring you over here and show you just how I'm going to do it. Okay, brought you in my little chopping board here. Here's my tomato. What I was saying about it having some nice give to it. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see how it's going underneath? Now I know these tomatoes in particular are quite fleshy. So you might think when you look at it, you're not going to get that many seeds. So for example, there we go. This is what we love about it. It's so tasty. But have a little look down there. Can you see? Quite a few seeds in there. So all I'm going to do is scoop those. And there's more where that came from. I mean, again, you've got to think, unless you're doing it on an industrial level, You probably only want a few plants of each one, but it's always nice to be able to offer them up to people, especially if they're your favourite, and get them to try it too. So I'm just going to look at all the flesh here. Of course, that's someone at the door, isn't it? So I'm just going to take those off there, and I think you'll see that's quite enough. Okay. Okay, so once you get to that stage, you can see just how gloopy it is. I mean, yeah, it doesn't look great, does it? But this is the stage where if you wanted to, you could just pour them or place them on something that's going to block them, that's going to absorb all the gloop, and that would be fine. But if I show you how we do this, all you need to do is put a little bit of water on. That's really as complicated as it gets. Give it a little bit of a stir. You could do it in a jar with a lid and give it a shake. You could do it in anything. You don't need anything fancy to do this in. I use glasses just because I like to watch the gloop go to the top. I know it's weird, isn't it? And see the good seeds settle on the bottom. But yeah, that's all you do. That's all you do. You put that to one side, you go away, eat your tomato, put that one to one side for a few days' time, and as if by magic, I'll show you what they look like once they're done. Okay, here's one of the ones I did a few days ago. This is my pink heart, because look, I actually labelled it, that I've just done in some glasses, and we always know it's this time of year because there's never a glass to be found in the cupboard. But you can see here, hopefully, if I tip it, it'll all start to go to one side. But the top is where all the gloop has started to go. You can see it's risen from the bottom. So the whole idea now is to get this gloop off by pouring it very, very gently. There's a seed's just popped out there. That's obviously not viable. Pour it really gently. I would do it over the sink, but the light's not very good. And you'll see that at the bottom, can you see that? The viable seeds are staying more at the bottom. This could possibly have done with a few more days. But what I'm going to do there, can you see in there? I'm going to give them a quick rinse, a little bit more water, another stir. I would say ideally leave these for 3 or 4 days, but make sure that the seeds are staying at the bottom. But don't leave them for too long because you don't want the whole lot to go rancid. But yeah, you can see there, those seeds are looking nice. Okay, do that. Whoop. I'm just going to do it again. A little bit more water. This is all you do. All you're doing with this water is making sure the seeds are clean. Can you see how they're coming cleaner now? I don't know if you can. Let's have a look. Give it another shake. Give it another tip. And I think then we'll strain it. Okay, a couple of gloopy bits coming out there. Yeah, the seeds are starting to come out there, so I don't want that to happen. And all we do to strain it, rusty old sieve there, doesn't matter because it's going to be lined with a piece of paper useful for blotting. So in this case it's some kitchen towel, just folded into a few layers there. And then we're just going to tip those seeds into there like so. Now as you can see, a little couple bits of gloopy there, get rid of them. Doesn't really matter, but I'll show you now. You leave those seeds to dry off and I'll show you the difference now between fermented seeds and ones that you've just dried on some paper. Okay, you can see these are ones that have been dried overnight. They are nice and clean. There is no sign of any of the gloop. Anything that would have come out when I've strained them has dried away, and you can see, you know, they're easy to pick up. They've got nothing sticking to them to the paper, and they are perfectly viable seeds for next season. If I show you the difference between these seeds and ones that you tip out without fermenting, so ones that you might just scrape out the tomato and put on a piece of kitchen towel, well, you can see they're nice and colourful, but I tell you what, they're a blooming nuisance to try and get off the paper, because you have to really scratch at them, because the gloop, I keep calling it gloop, there will be a more scientific word, I know, but gloop does for now. The gloop has dried into the paper, absorbed into the paper, and more or less glued the seeds down, so it's difficult to see where the seeds are. I've got that one there, but you really do have to scrape them off, which, let's be honest, it's a bit of a nuisance. You've got better things to do, I'm sure. I can't get any of those off. So it takes a little bit of time. They are completely glued down. Let's see if I can get that one off. Yeah, there we go, scratching it. It does come off, and you'll have a viable seed just there. But really, for that little bit of extra effort, and it really isn't much effort at all, to have these seeds here, nice, fresh, dry seeds, compared to having to faff around with these afterwards, you know, I just think it's worth doing. Anyway, let me know. How do you, there we are, let's put them side to side. There we go. Let me know how you save your tomato seeds. The beauty of it is, not only are you saving money, not only are you ensuring that you're going to be growing on seeds that you love, but you saw how many seeds I got just out of a tiny bit of that pink heart tomato. And you can get, from a whole tomato, you can get hundreds of seeds, which means not only have you got enough for yourself, but you have got enough to share with other people. You know, share with them what your favourite tomatoes are. If you've got a few tomatoes you want to do, get them ready and put them together in, you know, a little gift pack for Christmas or for birthdays to get them started on their tomato sowing journey next year. So yeah, all you want to do now is get them in a little paper bag. If you have got any of those little silica packets that you get with shoes and handbags, those tiny little things of silica that help to absorb any moisture, pop those in as well, especially if you're not using a little paper bag. If you're putting them in glass jars, I would always try and put something a little bit extra in, because moisture can build up. But usually those little envelopes, the ones that people use for money, are enough, and make sure you label them and the date you have put them in there, and put them somewhere safe. So yeah, that's as easy as it is. Fermentation process sounds very scientific, really dead simple. So let me know what you think, as I say, in the comments below. Have a little go yourself, and yeah, see you again next time. Bye for now.